Previously on Bollockz.
This is the part where we go to www.topods.com. Comfort gets me Brandon on the phone, and we talk about the Soweto Derby. Again, we also talk about Arsenal going to Fulham. Well, I'm a bit worried about that. And of course, Man United Chelsea on Monday. That's a humdinger this early in the season. The two, Jose Mourinho back at Chelsea, and David Moyes at Man United. Great start for him. Nice, cool, comfortable start. Never troubled. And I thought that there might be a little bit of a honeymoon bedding in period that he needed, but of course he didn't. And Robin van Persie saw to that, much to every Arsenal fans' discomfort. Newcastle West Ham, be interesting. Newcastle, I think, in all kinds of disarray. Lost their first game badly. Pardew at Newcastle in big trouble with a guy called Joe Kinnear. Not to be confused with Joe Kinnear. Brandon, is that you?
Yes, how's it now?
Brandon, great to speak to you. Mate, we're back. Football is back in a big way. The English Premier League has kicked off. The South African Premier League kicked off 2 weeks ago, and they've only played one game, but we have got the MTN 8 to look at. Now, where would you like to start, Brandon? Just to tell my listeners, www.topods.com, on Twitter @TopOddsCompare, and we're looking at one of those enormous South African games. Should we start with the Soweto Derby? Is that all right with you, Brandon?
Yes, let's start with the MTN 8.
Yeah.
If you guys want to click on Soccer RSA.
That's right, down that left-hand green menu.
Side.
Yep. And there we find...
And you should navigate to MTN 8. The semi-finals. Neil, just a quick question. These games are over 2 legs, is that correct? Yes.
And away goals count double, even though Chiefs and Pirates often play their home games at Mbombela and Polokwane and all that. But this counts at Soccer City as a Chiefs home game. So in the event of a draw on aggregate, any goals that Chiefs score this weekend will count double in the long run. But it means that Pirates, when they play the second leg on September the 4th, Heritage Day, it means that Pirates goals will count double in extra time as well, which a lot of people feel is unfair. And then the penalty shootout, if it was to come to that, would also be, of course, on Pirates, home soil at Orlando. So it does make it... a lot of Pirates people saying that actually gives us an advantage. The Baka have an advantage over the Amakosi. Just looking at your LM Bookmaker and World Sports Betting odds, I see we've also got Betting World have also got odds up.
Yeah.
Talk me through it, Brandon.
You can see the bookmakers are kind of divided with regard to this game. They're not sure which way it's going to go. It's LM Bookmaker who are the bookies that have drifted Pirates. They're making Chiefs slight favourites at 16-10. World Sports Betting and Betting World, same price on Pirates, same price on Chiefs. So I don't know, in terms of a punter, who you're going to go for in this game. Maybe home ground advantage, but like I said, there are going to be just as many Pirates fans in that stadium as Chiefs fans. I don't know the results between the clubs, but haven't Chiefs beaten them the last 2 times they've played?
There was a 0-0 draw as well last season. But yeah, Chiefs perceived as having the upper hand at the moment, having won the double last season. Pirates, the treble winners from the season before, finishing 3rd last season. And a definite feeling with Orlando Pirates with these 2 big wins over the Egyptian giants Al Ahly and Zamalek, then coming home to lose to Amazulu and to sneak through their quarter-final against SuperSport on penalties. So Pirates under all kinds of pressure is the general perception.
Yes, most definitely. I know you guys chatted to Stuart Baxter. What did he have to say with regard
Right, so this is what I was going to say. Stuart Baxter very kindly spoke to us briefly. I'll be blogging on that, and I'll put up a video and some words from Stuart. I put it to him that he could possibly play Leoslonolo Majoro, Bernard Parker, their top scorer last season, and of course their reacquired Knowledge Masona, who's here for a year on loan from Hoffenheim. He could play all 3 of them, and he said, yeah, I could do that. I've got those options. I've tried it before. But then he did go on to say that you've got to box cagily in the first leg of a 2-leg encounter, and that in many ways for Orlando Pirates, a 0-0 draw would be a good result in the opening game. For Chiefs, a 1-1 draw because of that away goal would be even worse. So I can see Stuart actually, lining up not to concede too many. And we might be in for quite a quiet Soweto derby, but famous last words. when you look at the two strike forces, when you look at Lennox Bekele's form, 2 goals against SuperSport in the quarterfinal, and another one in the against Samelec last Saturday, and both sides are scoring goals. So I'm hoping there'll be some goals. And although I would put my money in every first leg of every event on a draw.
Yeah, well, you would take the 22-10 with Allen Bookmaker. Like I said, you put 100 Rand down, and you'll get 220 Rand back plus your stake. So you would collect 320 Rand on a bet like that, and that's not a bad wager to start off the weekend.
No, absolutely right, and I could see people making money on the draw. Now, how do they do that? They just click. They simply click on. They go down into topadds.com. They go down the left-hand menu, the green menu, into Soccer RSA, into MTN8, and then they can click on those odds and make their bet actually online. Can they?
That's correct. You pick the bookmaker that you'd like to take your bet with. You click on his icon, and it will direct you to his website, where you can open up an account if you don't have one, or you can give them a call. Their contact details are on their website. Open up an account and start betting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you have to have a credit card to bet online, or a debit card?
You can use a credit card, you can use a debit card, you can use a bank. You can do an EFT, a bank transfer. There are many ways to get money into your account.
Cool.
And strike your first bet. If you want to have a look at the second game, now this is where I think we can make money.
Yes.
Your beloved Wits
Yes.
and Platinum Stars.
Yes, I'm getting a lot of that.
Have a look at the betting in that situation.
Yeah.
I mean, Allen Bookmaker offering 19-10. That's just under 2-1 on Wits, on the Clever Boys.
Yeah.
So sure, I don't know so much. Has he got them right? Are they where they need to be at the moment in terms of Wits?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gavin Hunt?
Their opening game, ironically, in the PSL this season, the one game that everyone's played, their game was a 0-0 draw against Platinum Stars at the glorious Bafokeng Sports Palace, and I was very, very disappointed with Gavin and told him so in non-certain terms. Look, mate, you spent all this money. You're the bloke I'm backing. I'm saying you can upset the Soweto Giants this season, Gavin, with this extraordinary side that he's put together of very experienced people like Manip Josephs, Matthew Booth, and then up front Benjani from Zimbabwe, and of course in their very next game, in the other quarter-final of the MTN8, a 3-0 win, comfortable, and now into Platinum Stars. I can't see them failing. I can't see them losing either of these two legs. With the ammunition that he's got, Vilakazi up front as well, Fatty Pappy in the midfield with Darren Patterson. There's some great combinations there. So yeah, I would be quite clearly backing Wits to win both legs, without being rude to De Quena and Platinum Stars fans. I do think that Wits have got too much in the armoury for Platinum Stars.
Just a quick question from an information point of view. Who did Platinum Stars play in the quarterfinals?
Platinum Stars played
Were they not
Free State Stars in their quarterfinal, and they won 3-0, which wasn't a bad result at all.
Yeah, they were impressive, though.
But
they were very impressive in that.
I mean, there were a lot of complaints from Steve Compella after the refereeing of that match as well. But there's been a lot of complaints about referees generally. So I'm a little bit... Look, mate, I've met Alan Freeze, right? He used to play... He was a little fullback when I was around playing. He's a nice bloke, lovely bloke, but I'm not sure that he cuts the right figure. So Brandon, I don't want to write Platinum Stars off completely, but I just think that Gavin Hunt, all fired up at Wits, has got a lot more in the armoury than Platinum Stars.
Well, at that price, I mean, 2-1, and you making them a racing.
So I've just lost you
all
here.
the punters out there, get onto Top Odds, click onto one of the bookmakers and take the 2-1.
I can't get it. Comfort, talk.
What?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah?
Sorry, Brandon, I've had problems with my earphones there. Sorry, mate.
No problem. So yeah, let me direct you guys, if we can go over to Soccer United Kingdom, second week of the English Premier League.
Nothing.
So if you guys click on the left-hand side, move down to English Premier League, you'll see all the fixtures up there and all the bookmakers offering prices.
Got it.
Brandon?
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now,
hear
Brandon.
you.
Sorry, mate.
No problem, no problem. So if you click on the left-hand side, Soccer United Kingdom, it should direct you to English Premier League.
Yep.
And you'll see all the fixtures up there for this weekend. I don't know what you made of Chelsea last night. I thought they were a little bit lucky to get to 3 points.
A little bit lucky. Friend was the worst. Yeah, go on.
Everyone was in a hoo-ha and an uproar about this John Terry penalty, the handball in the box that should have been a penalty. I think the defender jumped on his shoulder and pulled him down. That's what I think. So I think Chelsea deserved the 3 points. So I'm going to go out there and say it. I'm a Mourinho fan, so they deserved the 3 points. They didn't play, the most beautiful football that I've ever seen, but they did the job, and I think that's what Jose Mourinho is good at. I mean, he gets the points when he needs the points. But this Aston Villa side, and I think I'm going to start off there, Aston Villa versus Liverpool. And what I've seen, I mean, they beat Arsenal. They pushed Chelsea to the absolute brink last night. I mean, and you can get 3-1 at home, Aston Villa against Liverpool. That's got to stand out if you've watched the last two
It's
games.
A stand-up bet. I noticed that as well. So in effect, you go and you put 30 rand on Aston Villa to beat Liverpool at home, having beaten Arsenal away, just about bearded Chelsea and got done, I thought, at the end. And here they are at 3-1 to beat Brendan Rodgers' kind of reformed Liverpool. A lot of stuff going on there, the Suarez fiasco and all that kind of stuff going on. I think 3-1 is a great bet. 29-10 with World Sports Betting. Also 3-1 with Betting World. I think that's not a bad bet at all.
No, I've got a bone to pick. I don't know if it was the Mole or you last week. I play this fantasy Premier League, and you guys came up with some situation that Benteke had broken his leg.
Yeah, no.
So I left him out on my side, and I thought, I'm not going to have a bet on Aston Villa now. Arsenal must be a good thing, and the guy ran onto the field and scored 2.
Absolutely. The Mole saw a tweet saying that Benteke had hurt his. Either broken his leg or badly hurt it playing for Belgium in their 0-0 draw against France. It proved to be a complete, fabrication. He went off injured, but he was fine. Benteke looked good against Arsenal, scored once from a penalty rebound, once from a penalty, scored a great goal against Chelsea last night, leaving all of us saying that Christian Benteke, one of many Belgian players of world class at the moment, they've got at least 16, 17 players played at the top flight. Benteke looks like the business, and again, if you want to put a bet on him being Golden Boot winner in England this season, chasing Van Persie, then I don't think that's a bad bet either.
Well, I mean, you've got to make him a special player. When Jose Mourinho mentions him in his post-match interview, that he caused trouble the whole evening. Yeah. It got his goal. I think that Chelsea defence is a fairly solid defence. I mean, Ivanovic, John Terry, Ashley Cole, I mean, they can play the game, and I think this guy he was all over them like a bag of salt, and I think at 3-1 you have to take something, in terms of Villa, maybe with another side that's a little bit shorter, which we'll go through now, but I just think they're such value, and Liverpool weren't that impressive. I mean, they should have won 4-0, and, we're lucky to bar a save from Mignolet to actually win the game at home. So I don't know if they were that impressive, and I think that Villa will be, it's a value bet. I wouldn't say it's the best bet, but it's a value bet.
Yeah, no, Mignolet, the Sunderland goalkeeper they signed, man of the match in his first game, says something about the way Liverpool are setting up and the way Brendan Rodgers, in my view, is nothing like a Liverpool manager. He doesn't cut the profile. I can't see big players going to Liverpool to sign for Brendan Rodgers when they're not in the Champions League. Whereas in the old days, maybe under Roy Hodgson with his European experience, Kenny Dalglish with his great name in football, and obviously Rafa Benitez, Liverpool were a plum club to go and sign for if you were a top European player. But at the moment, with Brendan Rodgers there, I just don't think that he cuts that figure anymore. I think Liverpool are in trouble this season again.
Oh, well, nothing new to the Liverpool supporters. Another season of heartbreak, maybe. But, I mean, they haven't won their first game for quite a while, so at least it was a better start than they've had before.
No, true.
In terms of winning at home. So let's see. But I think an interesting game as well is the Fulham-Arsenal game. Now, Fulham, known as a home side, a home team, I think it was the first time they'd won away last week for a long, long time on the first day of the season.
Yep.
They come home, Craven Cottage, to an Arsenal side, that played very well last night. I think they won 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0, yeah.
I don't know if Wenger's got the squad now to come out. And Fulham are a different kettle of fish at home, I believe. I think, you always get value for money when they play there. Generally, they're short against the lower tier teams. Arsenal at 12-10. I don't know if that's, like I said last week, Manchester United, even money, get on them. You won't see that again, and you probably won't until they play Chelsea on Monday. But they came through. Is this a similar thing with Arsenal? I mean, 12-10 is value for a top four side. Their quality should see them through. I'm not too sure.
The Mole and I were just saying that Fulham is never an easy game for Arsenal traditionally. Fulham have signed quite well, quietly signed quite well, and it's not going to be easy. Any London derby is considered to be a little step up, although Fulham, in a quiet area, football terms, of London to the west. Small ground right next to the Thames, lovely place to play, packed to the rafters for Arsenal. For a lot of Arsenal fans, it's the one game they can get into is Fulham away. If they live out west of London, they can't afford a season ticket, which is very, very feverishly expensive. There'll be a lot of Arsenal fans packed into a small and atmospheric ground, Craven Cottage, right on the banks of the Thames. And I hate to say it, but I can see another little slip up after the high point of Europe this week. A lot of Arsenal fans are very, very worried that it won't be a win. We could end up with 1 or no points after 2 games, and a lot of people calling for Wenger's throat again come Saturday night. 12:30, they got the early kick-off, Arsenal, haven't they?
Yes, they do. It's 1:45 South African time, 13:45. I just think Fulham at 5-2 are such value the way Arsenal. To lose at home. First week of the season. Okay, not too bad. You might back them to bounce back, but it is Fulham. Fulham are at home, and they were in Turkey last night. So, it's not going to be easy on the players. I don't know if his squad's big enough where he can ring 3 or 4 changes. He's got to play Kozzola, he's got to play Rosicky, he's got to play Giroud. These are guys that have played a full 90 minutes, scored 3 goals in a hostile atmosphere in Turkey. It's never easy there. And to come home now and have to go to Fulham, like you say, it's never easy, and it's just the odds are stacked against him. And I just think at 5-2 there, maybe take a small little double, put 50 rand on a double, Fulham and Aston Villa. You're getting yourself 8-9-1 with the bookmakers, and you might just collect.
That's a fascinating bet. I would compare Arsenal's situation to the week before last, when Orlando Pirates came back from Malguna, having beaten Al Ahly, the holders of the African Champions League, 3-0 away, came back to play Amazulu and got done 1-0. In exactly the same way Arsenal have been to the hell that is Turkey, beaten a very good Fenerbahce side 3-0, get back to play Fulham. There's so many parallels between Roger Desai and Arsene Wenger. How do you motivate your players, for the early game at Fulham on Saturday, just after lunch? You've flown out of... They flew out last night, Arsenal. And there were a couple of injuries. Koscielny obviously is suspended anyway. He got kicked in the face. And there were a couple of injuries, a couple of nasty tackles flying around. Like I say, I think, Fulham and Aston Villa to beat Arsenal and Liverpool. Sounds like madness on the face of it, but actually might be a nice little double there.
We lost him for a bit, but we can get him back. Yeah,
we'll get Brandon back, because we also want to talk... you've got to talk about rugby this weekend. You've got the All Blacks Australia back on, and Argentina, what did we say earlier, Maz, looking for their revenge against the Springboks. Brilliant. Sorry, Brandon, I lost you there for a second. I think probably... Do you want to move on to the rugby, Brandon?
We got to chat about one more game. I know
go on.
Time, but you have to chat about Manchester United and Chelsea.
Yeah, no.
You have to chat about that on Monday.
Go on.
It's the 9 o'clock game, Monday night. Mourinho versus Moyes.
Yeah.
The betting's very, very close. 15-10 Manchester United, 2-2 on Chelsea. The bookmaker's very, very close in the betting. Chelsea have been impressive. I don't think they were impressive last night, but I do think, they're getting into it slowly. Manchester United, I don't know how impressive they were. I don't know how, if Swansea just didn't get into the game. I don't know, but United at home always a daunting prospect. I think David Moyes, he knows how to beat the big teams. Now he's got the players to do it. They might be able to put one over Chelsea. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think so. Robin van Persie certainly looked as sharp as anything we've seen. We're used to that now. There were seasons at Arsenal where Van Persie would spend long times out injured, but he seems to have found the right physio and the right combination of players around him to put one early in on Swansea and then another late, and with Van Persie playing in that kind of manner and Man United having all the other equipment they've got, it's going to be very difficult for Chelsea, especially the way they played last night. I was trying to flick between Arsenal and Chelsea last night, and I didn't. After that early goal from Chelsea, they did what Arsenal did, which was struggle against Aston Villa. And to be honest, Peter Cech made 2 or 3 really good saves. There was the penalty incident. And Chelsea aren't the best side, in the league. I thought Chelsea would run away with the Premier League while Moyes was trying to bed in, and Pellegrini, and Mourinho's back at Chelsea, so he knows how it works. He knows the situation. I did think that Chelsea would get off to a roaring start and Man United and Man City might slip up. It hasn't happened that way. So I can see Chelsea slipping up here, at least a draw. And Man United would be disappointed with that. Moyes will want to win against Chelsea to prove that he can fill these huge Sir Alex Ferguson shoes.
Well, his first home game, I think he has to. Were you impressed with Manchester City, by the way?
Yeah, reasonably. Listen, they spent a lot of money. Jesus Navas is a cracking defender, and I always worry that selling Mario Balotelli was such an admission of defeat. But they've got Pellegrini in charge. It's a whole new ball game again. A very, very good manager with proven credentials, a lot of money behind him, and huge pressure to succeed. So I think Manchester City, they got Cardiff in Cardiff this weekend. They'll win again, and suddenly we'll be stuck with a situation of the 2 Manchesters at the top of the table again.
I hope you got on West Ham last week, Neil.
Yeah, I know.
West Ham at 9-10. I hope you got on them.
Well, Sam Allardyce is starting to work that magic. Okay, he got them up. He kept them safe last season, and then this season they started to push for something like top 6 or 7. And obviously, the way things are going at Newcastle with Alan Pardew and the madman Joe Kinnear, it just does feel like Man City killed them last week, and it's going to be a situation now where Newcastle at home, fanatical support. You've got to go to Newcastle to understand that St James's Park is a religion to the Geordies, and West Ham blowing bubbles in Newcastle this weekend wouldn't be surprising. I see West Ham 14-10, 51-20, 5-2. Yeah, that's about right, I guess. But I can honestly see West Ham. Allardyce is an interesting manager, Brandon. He, at last count, when he was at Blackburn, he had something like 47 various analysts and nutritionists and a huge backroom staff that he takes with him. And he's a lot more, he comes across as a brash ex-footballer. He was part of the Fergie fledglings at one point. Sam Allardyce knows his football, and he knows how to get the best out of average sides. And I think Newcastle are in trouble here.
Yeah, I'd be with West Ham again. Maybe a West Ham Man United double, throw the other 2 teams in as well, and get 100-1 and win 2,000 rand for 20 rand. That's the way to do it. You're going to watch the games anyway. Get onto top odds and see where the value is.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. That's another interesting idea. Man United, it's a tough one, isn't it? I can see a draw there. Stoke Palace, Mark Hughes. Okay, right. Should we have a look at this rugby? This is where you need to lead me, really. I mean, I know my rugby a bit, but, mate, I can't see any other way with these.
I got totally wrong last week. I mean, Argentina just didn't come to the party at all at Soccer City. And they got an absolute hiding, and it's the first time I've seen South Africa actually put a good score past a below-average team. So it was good to see, but I do think that this week in Argentina, it's going to be a little bit different. The spreads, it started at 11.5. They've moved it right out now to giving Argentina plus 13.5. So they have a 13.5 start in the game. The way South Africa performed last week, it should be a walk in the park for them, and I'll be with South Africa at a minus. I don't think they'll go there and draw again. I think they learned a lesson from last year, and they put one over Argentina, and I think they'll do it again. They'll do it very, very well. I think. I remember England going there in the junior internationals and also giving them an absolute thumping.
Yeah.
I thought maybe first game of the season the books might be a bit rusty. I think they'll be better this week, and I think they'll get up. They'll get up and beat the spread, the plus 13.5. The interesting game is the Australia-New Zealand game. Now, I got that totally wrong once again. The Wallabies had no kick in their step. They didn't come to the party, and it was a walkover for New Zealand. But I think they'll be better this week. I think the spread's gone out. I think it's 7.5. I'm just battling to open the page on my side of my
I can't get that to load actually at the moment. So I've kind of gone back onto Google just to have a look at the latest team news from that game.
I just think Australia will be better. The punters mustn't be fooled. I don't think New Zealand can get much better than how they played. There were a few tries, that were a little bit questionable, balls popping out of the scrum and, things like that.
Yeah.
But, I think Australia will be a little bit better this week. I don't know if I'd get involved too heavily in this game. maybe take New Zealand on the minus if you think they'll be just as good. I don't see New Zealand playing worse than they played. They can only get better, and
exactly.
hopefully the Aussies get better as well. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's two tough fixtures this week. South Africa, you've got to take the travel into account. Australia, you've got to take their jersey into account and whether they can perform just a little bit better, for the badge that they wear, because it was an absolutely shocking performance. I thought Ewan McKenzie would get enough for the game, and he really, really didn't. And the All Blacks just walked over them. So, very brave punters to get involved in that rugby. Maybe, as I said last week, watching, running, and see. But the bet of the weekend, and I'm going back to soccer, it's got to be West Ham to beat Newcastle. Has to be.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like West Ham to beat Newcastle. I think that's the way the season's shaping up. Two clubs that last season we would have said will both finish about mid-table. Newcastle had their dreadful run with French signings, obviously huge language problems, and as we all know, French people are very, very difficult for us to talk to and get on with, and that's what seems to have corrupted Alan Pardew's great plan at the Toon. And he's then thrusted Mike Ashley, a known Spurs fan, thrusts bloody Joe Kinnear on top of Alan Pardew and leaving him without a leg to stand on. I find the whole thing quite shocking, and I do feel sorry for Newcastle fans. They remind me, in this country, a little bit of kind of, I don't know, who would it be, Amazulu or Morocco Swallows, where you've got a good support, you've got faithful fans, Bloemfontein Celtics another, and here's Newcastle United, great fans, 50,000 every game, and very rarely do they compete amongst the top level, even though they've got money and they've got backing. I do worry about them. And West Ham might be a very, very good option. I don't think we need to worry about the Ashes today. The Ashes series ended 2 weeks ago. I don't care how many runs Australia have got. Looking at them just starting now, the second day of the final test. England 3-0 up in that series going into the fifth test, second day. Good day for Shane Watson and Australia. But as I said yesterday to all the Australians, too little, too late, Shane Watson.
Too late.
Brandon, great to talk to you, mate, as always. So we're going to sign off. I'm in Durban next week, so we're trying to sort something out to get the show on air while I'm away. But we'll speak to you very soon.
Thanks so much, Neil. Have a good day.
All right, Brandon. Great stuff, mate.
This is Balls Visual Radio.